In Union City.
It's only 20 minutes from here.
Okay, we did have a technical problem, so if you have colleagues who are trying to join the this update, please tell them that they need to look for the notification, a new notification from Facebook. We couldn't use the one that was originally intended. That's just, these things happen. So let's get started. We're here with Palenfo, Dramane, and Charlotte Mbuh, and we have a lot of exciting news to share with you. So see you in a couple of seconds. Right, a warm welcome to you from Geneva, Switzerland. I'm Rida Sadki from the Geneva Learning Foundation. If you're not familiar with the COVID-19 Peer Hub, I'm going to quickly recap. What we're going to do today is actually to share what is happening with COVID-19 vaccine introduction, and specifically how two Francophone countries, Ivory Coast and the Democratic Republic of Congo, have begun to share information, share experience between alumni and really country teams that were created during the COVID-19 Peer Hub last year. So this is going to be in English, and we're doing this with Charlotte and Palenfo. Here you can see they haven't turned on their yes, here they are. All right, before we dive in to tell you all about what is happening, what happened in the two quite extraordinary meetings that the COVID-19 Peer Hub teams had Saturday and then the previous Saturday. Why did they meet twice? What happened? What did they learn from each other? How is vaccine introduction going on in each of the countries? We have a number of surprising and very, very interesting learnings, that rapid learning from COVID-19 vaccine introduction that have already come out of this. So before we dive in, I just also want to give you, as you're joining us, a quick recap of what is happening at the Geneva Learning Foundation. So first of all, the deadline for the WHO Scholar Level 1 certification on immunization agenda was last night. So you will be hearing soon from us to know if WHO has selected you, if you applied here. Now, second, the applications are still open for the workshop on female genital schistosomiasis. So FGS is one of the most neglected sexual and reproductive health issues in sub-Saharan Africa. So do request the application if you are interested. Their applications will be open until the end of this week. Next, very pleased to announce, if you participated in this unique networking event, an opportunity to meet, network, and learn with fellow immunization professionals from all over the world. That's called Teach to Reach Connect. The next one is happening on the 25th of June, and we hope that you'll be rejoining. More than 1,300 people joined the first one, and it's really just one-to-one networking. It's not a boring 60-minute webinar where you listen to people present their slides. It's actually about getting to meet, network, and learn from each other. And then last but not least, for those of you who are specifically interested in the questions around leadership and learning, the Geneva Learning Foundation is offering a monthly dialogue. It's on the last Sunday of each month, and you can request your invitation there. And what's interesting is that whether you work in immunization or any other area where you're tackling some challenges that are quite difficult, you share your challenge, and then with Karen Watkins and I will be sort of workshopping these. So you can also on the page listen in to the first one. All right, before we dive in, I want to now say hello to Dr. Suresh Kumar Dalpath, who has joined us via LinkedIn. Azutan Vunki. Dr. Suresh says, great feeling to be joining from India. Yes, thank you. You're going to be learning about vaccine introduction. And as we go, please do share your comments and questions. Adama Nanko Bagayoko. Maybe, I don't know if you're bilingual, Adama. Vous êtes bilingue? Sinon, ça va être un peu difficile pour vous. Neila Aboumalham Dugan. Emmanuel Chinonye Odunze from Nigeria. Warm welcome to you, Akili. Sishugi, and of course Nigeria is right next door. I want to say the big neighbor, but I don't know if that's appropriate, but the language barrier is there, and we're going to overcome this language barrier today because we have two very skilled, talented, bilingual immunization specialists with us, Charlotte and Palenfo, and they're going to be updating us on what is happening with these this inter-country collaborative. Robert Tibaya says hello, and very happy to see our dear Dr. Shalini Kare from India is here with us, Geneviève Su from Cameroon, Dr. Azim from Pakistan, Nasir Umar doesn't tell us where he's from this time, and of course we have our dear Amel Al-Tahir connecting from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Robert Tibaya from Cameroon. Shalini says, great to see you guys. Dr. Iwat Ndayo from Abuja, Nigeria. A warm welcome to you. Halima Toro also from Nigeria. Tari Lawson, Port Harcourt. And Dr. Fantamadi Kamara from Sikasso in Mali. We're going to stop here and really now dive in. This was not announced publicly, so you have to have been a member of the Peer Hub in order to receive this announcement. As you can see here today, what are we going to do? It's a quick recap of the first inter-country collaborative between alumni of the COVID-19 Peer Hub from Côte d'Ivoire and from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm now going to go with my first question to Charlotte. Charlotte, are you able to turn on your video? Otherwise, in your case, I actually have. Okay, yes, all right. Yes, so who was there at these? There were two meetings on the 27th of March and then on the 3rd of April. Who was actually there? Who participated in these meetings from the two countries?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Reda. So first and foremost, these meetings brought together the two scholar country groups, that is scholar alumni from the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Ivory Coast. So they came together under the lead of the various team leaders of this group. They invited people who were actively involved in COVID-19 vaccine introduction in both countries at all levels of the system to come for experience sharing. So I may not want to name names, but we had people directly involved. Like in DRC, the national EPI manager for DRC was present during the session, as well as the national coordinator for communications as far as COVID-19 vaccine introduction is concerned from DRC was also present. We also had regional EPI managers that were there, as well as district from all levels of the system. Maybe I'd like to turn to Palenfo to talk about the panelists on the side of Ivory Coast.
Yes, and welcome to you, Palenfo. Tell us, what is the point of involving people from all levels of the system? Because vaccine introduction is usually done top-down. People in the capital city plan, and then so the rest of the system carries out what has been planned by the national team. So why in these meetings involve people from health facilities, districts, all levels of the system? Oh, and you'll need to unmute, of course.
It's okay now. Okay, thank you very much. We are in a particular situation with the vaccination against COVID-19. So it was a crucial steps in involving the participant. In Côte d'Ivoire, they have three main levels of health system. And at the beginning, they try to bring together all these persons. We have central level participants, but also regional and district level participants. For the inter-country exchange, we have among the panelists, people from national level, but also people from district level, because the intent was to share how the planning was done at central level, but how the district level take also the directive or the guideline to adapt to try to make the same thing that were in the national deployment plan. So we have all the level of participants who were involved in the planning, but also in the deployment of the vaccines.
So, Palenfo, you facilitated the first meeting, and usually we try to keep on time, but in this case, you decided to let the meeting keep going, and it kept going for 90 minutes beyond what had originally been planned. And then there was a second meeting. What happened that was so exciting, and no one left? Everyone who was there at the beginning of the meeting stayed for much longer than what was planned. What was so exciting and important that people just stayed and that the discussion between the two countries continued in this way?
Yes, Reda, the meeting was planning to last 1 hour at all 1 hour. But at the beginning, when we start with the first topic, we were surprised by the question, the interest, the involving of participants, even in Zoom, but also in Facebook, because it was live streaming. There were a lot of questions. People were asking to know how a country can go step by step to the deployment and the vaccination. So during the meeting, we decided to take more time to explain all the main topic or the main challenge a country can face in this vaccination. So we agree with the DRC Congo to extend the meeting for 2 hours. But at the end, there were a flow of questions that were not directly answered. So we decided to make some review of all the question in Zoom, but also in Facebook, in order to address people concerned to go for better information for the people. So we decide to have a second meeting.
Before we go any further, of course, the only reason the team leaders of the COVID-19 teams for Ivory Coast and DRC are not with us is simply because they do not speak English. And at the same time, we wanted to overcome this language barrier, and hence decided that with Charlotte and Palenfo, who are closely involved on both sides, with the DRC and the Ivory Coast, to give the Anglophones a quick recap in this way. So my next question is, where is each country with respect to COVID-19 vaccine introduction? Can I ask you, Charlotte, to summarize what the situation is in the DRC, and then Palenfo, what is the situation on the Ivory Coast?
Okay, so as far as DRC is concerned, they are still at the planning phase, the preparatory phase for COVID-19 vaccine introduction. They have a plan that is a rollout plan, a deployment plan for the vaccine at the level of their country. They are putting together all the tools that will be needed to effectively roll out the vaccine. They have, and that is why to them, this experience sharing session was capital, because they got to had to learn a lot from what Ivory Coast was doing to be able to better prepare themselves to actually introduce the vaccine. So they have identified the zones that will be concerned with the first phase of vaccination, and they are working out also training on how they will train for the COVID-19 vaccine train, those who are involved in the COVID-19 vaccine introduction at the level of the country. So it's really about preparation. And from the words of the National EPI manager from DRC, she said it was that they are going to make maximum use of the lessons learned and the recommendations from the meeting between Ivory Coast and DRC to ensure that they actually succeed in introducing COVID-19 vaccine in their country.
Thanks, Charlotte. So I wanted to start with DRC, but of course we all know that the two first countries where there was a very public global announcement that these countries were receiving COVAX vaccine via the Vaccine Alliance via Gavi, or Ghana on the Anglophone side, and Ivory Coast. So Palenfo, where is Ivory Coast at? Several weeks after this made this was headline news with respect to vaccine introduction, the vaccine that protects its recipients from the COVID-19 disease.
Yes, Reda, as you told, Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana were the first country to receive vaccine from COVAX facility, and the first doses reached Abidjan at the end of February, and the country launched the vaccination campaign at the beginning of March. We start in Abidjan, the capital, because it was the place with the main cases of COVID-19, and the vaccination was run during 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, the country decided to launch vaccination in the district inside the capital city. So since March 20th, the vaccination started at the district level vaccination point, with also vaccination point from all the defense. I want to say the military, the security, and so on. So they also have a health system, health point, so they start to vaccinate. But from this month of April, vaccination will be progressively extend in the other district in the country, and the country also decided to maintain the administration of the first dose, and they will reload. They will put out another agenda for the vaccination of the second dose.
All right. So then my next question is, what were the main issues that the DRC team was interested in? So obviously Ivory Coast started first with COVID-19 vaccine introduction. Two very different countries in terms of geography, in terms of, in many different ways. So before these meetings, Charlotte, what were the questions or issues that the DRC team expressed interest in learning from their Ivory Coast colleagues?
Reda, they just wanted to know everything, but a lot of emphasis was made on communication and how to address vaccine hesitancy due to the situation that had occurred in DRC around rumors on the COVID-19 vaccine. So to them, that was very important, but they also asked questions on the reception and the stockage of the vaccines, on training, on management of AFIs as adverse events following immunization. And also they wanted to know about the tools that were used for data collection, and questions around how the organization of the vaccination sites. And of course, they also wanted to know about the target population. How was that calculated? How did they get to get the approval of those people who wanted to receive the vaccine and all of that? So basically, when we looked at the questions that were asked by members of the DRC team, they were around all of the organization of the COVID-19 vaccine introduction, from the planning phase right to deployment, but with a lot of emphasis on handling hesitancy and communication, interpersonal communication, and communication as a whole.
All right, so Shalini has a question. She wants to know, are both countries using the same manufacturer's vaccine? Are Charlotte, or Palenfo able to answer that one for Ivory Coast and DRC? We know these are the vaccines coming through the COVAX facility, but are they actually which one is it? and are they the same in both countries?
Okay, so from what I got, the Ivory Coast used AstraZeneca, and the DRC was also supposed to receive AstraZeneca. So basically, it's supposed to be the same vaccine.
Okay, great. Palenfo, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think as the two countries are in the same COVAX facility, and the first doses, the first vaccine released by the COVAX facilities was AstraZeneca. Yeah.
All right. And of course, Shalini's next question is about AEFI. We're going to come back to that. It was obviously a big topic. And the interesting thing here is that you had the people from the Ivory Coast who happen to be Scholar alumni, who happen to be actively involved in the Peer Hub and last year and have worked on vaccine hesitancy, have worked on these issues, who are involved with AEFI monitoring. So let's come back to that as we progress through the discussion. So in these meetings between COVID-19 Peer Hub team members of the Ivory Coast and COVID-19 Peer Hub team members of the Democratic Republic of Congo, what was presented, in fact, about the Ivory Coast's progress with vaccine introduction, and who presented it? Palenfo.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. The meeting were organized on topic. For each topic, there was a main respondent to whom a set of questions was addressed. This respondent was member of the related subcommittee at central level, but they were all were from Scholar alumni. That was a greetings. All the panelists were scholars, and we have also an operational level participant who, for all the topic, gave the situation in the district. So we have the chief of communication of the EPI in Côte d'Ivoire, who were panelists. We have a chief of the monitoring the service of EPI, also a member from the service in charge of vaccination release. We call it prestation in French. And we also have someone, the responsible of IFI in API in Côte d'Ivoire. So all these guys are scholars, and they volunteered to come in this inter-country exchange to share the experience and to tell to their colleagues what they have done and what they face as challenges and what was the bigger lesson learned in this COVID-19 vaccination.
All right.
That was the team from Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah.
Thanks, Palenfo. And in fact, Amel El Taher has asked what was going to be my next question. So, of course, what we want to know is what were the main challenges that were shared for both countries that are at different stages of vaccine introduction. Let's start with, and I have to say, having listened to both of the meetings, it was Ivory Coast really sharing their experience, DRC listening and asking questions that reflect their concerns, I would say. So, Palenfo, let me ask what for you. Let me ask for the top challenge that the Ivory Coast team is facing right now that was shared in these meetings, and is it in fact AEFI, so adverse events related to vaccination?
Yes, I think main challenges were, first, we have some communication issue, because when the vaccine reached the country, there were also some expectation from the population, but also we have news coming from other countries, especially European countries, about some situation they face with the vaccination against COVID-19. So communication was a big challenge. Countries have to adapt, to improve to all the time to readdress the message. And this message were linked on what we are progressively known about the vaccine. That was the first challenge. The second, the vaccination, the number of people, people were not at the top at the beginning. No, progressively people come in the vaccination, but at the beginning it was a bit slow. That was the second challenge. And the third one, we are doing this vaccination with a bigger pressure, with a bigger involvement of the political aspect issue. So that were a key point we discussed with DRC. We have to be sure that the national deployment plan, the operational plan will be launched as it's righted, because sometimes you have some little involvement of the political question or issue. So that was what we noticed here in Côte d'Ivoire. But people have to keep in mind that don't assume that everything will be okay. Don't assume. We have also this with health worker. At the beginning, we have to assume that health worker will get vaccinating, there is no problem. But we have to develop a specific message, a specific sensibilization for health worker in order to get them in this vaccination.
All right, thanks, Palenfo. So we have some questions piling up here. Actually, Shalini wants to know two things. What were the main reasons cited for vaccine hesitancy, and what were the major challenges besides hesitancy? So you've already in part addressed that. Palenfo, do you want to add to what you said earlier, specifically on the challenges?
Sorry, Reda, it was glitching. Can you repeat?
Oh, yeah. So Shalini wants to know what were the main reasons cited for vaccine hesitancy, and what were the major challenges besides that hesitancy?
Okay. I think here in these two countries, and I think in all the countries in Africa who have started vaccination, we don't have information, we don't have data, we don't have communication about the status of people who get vaccinated. All that we hear is coming from European countries and other countries of the world. So people are waiting to know, especially what is it for African country. And I think this inter-country exchange we had with DRC contribute to tell people, okay, this is a country who is going on with this vaccination. That's what we have noticed. That's what we have reported. And this is the big picture here in this country in Africa. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the first country to release information about exactly what is happening when using this vaccine in Côte d'Ivoire.
And Palenfo, just to show, here is a message from Kadra Hussein from Somalia. And he actually says, good topic. And he says, today is 9 days. We're vaccinating 56 people in Galka Sio. So here, through this platform, through the COVID-19 Peer Hub, the information, the experience that you and Charlotte are sharing, having participated in this inter-country exchange, is already prompting and sparking more exchange of information. There are also, I want to also acknowledge Dr. Taimur Kayuni from connecting from Pakistan, Seydou Amadou Traoré, who's the team leader for the COVID-19 Peer Hub from Mali, and many others. If you have questions about this first, let me recap for those of you who just joined. And we did have a technical issue so the post where the stream was announced did not actually launched a live stream, so you had to look for a different notification, but I think we fixed that. So this is a quick recap. We're going to wrap up in a few minutes of the first exchange, really, this collaborative between COVID-19 teams from Ivory Coast and from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm with Charlotte Mbuh and Palenfo Dramane. They facilitated these two meetings between the COVID-19 country teams, and of course, because this was all in French, we are now sharing back with the Anglophones what happened in these meetings. So my next question for you is, the second meeting on the 3rd of April, so just Saturday, that one was held in private. Can you tell me why decide to have this second meeting private? What was different about the conversation when it's between immunization professionals in a private, safe space, as opposed to something that is being broadcast where anyone can see it? Let's hear Palenfo on this question.
Yes, Reda. For the second meeting, we choose to go in private because we want to discuss directly with people who are going to to conduct this vaccination in DRC. And we have to talk about some technical questions, and there were some technical terms, some technical words, and we also talk about some specific strategy to go for this vaccination. So it was interesting to be in private because we talk about all the things, all the success, all the weakness and so on. So that were a very technical meeting. That's why we choose to go on private. And yes, as we were as a soldier preparing for a battle, so we have to elaborate to discuss about some specific strategies.
Thanks, Palenfo. All right, so let's recap for the Ivory Coast team. They obviously shared their experience so far, and they have a head start on other countries in the region or on other countries throughout the world. So for each team, what do you think the value was of what did they gain from this exchange? Let's start with Charlotte for the DRC team.
Okay, I think from the feedback that we got on that is during the meeting itself and even after the meeting, we could see that DRC team, because they got to know get clear answers clearly if they were on the right track as far as planning is concerned. And where they had doubts, they were able to ask the Ivorian team. They also got to get access to the tools, some of the planning tools and the implementation tools that Ivory Coast is actually using on the field that they only have to adapt. And also, they also had some key lessons learned. Without participating in this inter-country peer learning exchange, they wouldn't have gotten some mistakes that Ivory Coast made at the beginning that in Côte that they were able to learn from. They shared those openly with DRC to say, look, when you are doing like this, make sure you plan this way. So I think at the end of it all, we have the national EPI manager that is saying this community, this COVID-19 peer hub community from DRC that has had to acquire a lot of knowledge throughout last year on vaccine hesitancy, on how to train better. We will need them. They will be needed for us to fully roll out the COVID-19 vaccine in DRC. And so actually there's a kind of mobilization that is going on to know exactly who are scholar alumni from DRC and how can they be useful in COVID-19 vaccine introduction in that country.
Thanks, Charlotte. So the question for Ivory Coast team, and I'm going to turn to Palenfo, who is the facilitator of this meeting. He, is really my question to you is then, I imagine Ivory Coast, alumni from the COVID-19 Peer Hub being very busy with vaccine introduction. Why did they take time out, even though they are so busy, to share with colleagues from another country? Why would they do that? And what do you think? What do you see as the value? What did they gain by contributing in this way to this inter-country exchange?
Yes, there is a spirit of scholar. When you are scholar, it's a network. So when DRC asked for this collaboration, this inter-country, all the scholars at any kind of level, they say, yes, I will be ready to participate in this inter-country exchange. Even scholar in the district or hill facility who didn't yet start vaccination, they say, I will be here to listen and to support DRC country. This is the spirit of scholar. And that's what the Geneva Learning Foundation is building since 2 years, to have strong network among in the country and also bring together all the professionals to share their experience. So the scholar will be ready at any time if it's something related to the network. And I'm also from Alumni, and for this meeting, you know that I were traveling, but I do my best to be here to share this experience with a colleague from DRC. That's the spirit of Solar.
Yeah, thank you, Palenfo. All right, so we are going to wrap this up. I do see more questions. And they will be doing, given the number of people, despite the technical difficulty, surprised by how the large number of people who have attended this. The interest is obvious. Let me share this message from Shalini. So she thanks you, Palenfo, and Charlotte. I'm sure, as always, it is a fantastic initiative that TGLF has taken. But actually, I just want to say this was not TGLF. This was the DRC country team from the COVID-19 Peer Hub that took the initiative, and to have a country collaboration on exchanging knowledge on COVID-19 vaccine introduction. Let me see. So we have, yes, and she says she's eager to hear about exchanges from countries and to get more insights. So again, that depends on the country teams. If you are in the COVID-19 country team and you would like to learn from the experience of other countries, reach out to Charlotte. She's coordinating these meetings, and I think has an exciting announcement. I don't know if she's ready to make with respect to the 2nd of May. I'll come to that in a second. Let's see. We have Ayebatari Lawson, who says, thanks so much for this, Ayebatari. I don't think you told us where you are from. She says, particularly, I'm impressed with the approach of continuously addressing the communication gap. And then Endayo Iwat, yes, has a very specific question. So probably about Ivory Coast. Let's look at his question, and we want to make sure we answer that. So what time was available for pre-launch planning, including microplan, before or from arrival of vaccines, before the official launch? Was it a phased launch, or all eligible persons were taken from the outset? Palenfo, would you like to quickly address that question?
Yes, here in Côte d'Ivoire, we start planning for this vaccination in November, last year in November. So we go for the national deployment plan. And during this macro planning, we get identifying the target. We have 3 categories of targets. We have frontline health worker, we have security staff, defense and security staff. We have also the teachers from schools. And all these were in the national deployment plan. And when we were okay with the COVAX facility for the vaccine arrival, we go for the operational plan, and the vaccine reached Abidjan in February. And the next week, the first sites of vaccination were already ready to welcome people. But the vaccination starts in capital, Abidjan, in the capital, and progressively is spreading in the other district inside the country. So that's the strategy adopted here in Côte d'Ivoire.
All right, thank you very much indeed to both Charlotte Mbuh and from the Geneva Learning Foundation, and Palenfo Dramane, who is a long time amongst the first scholars and has sustained his engagement. All right, Rajat Garg, questions are starting to come in now. So we always want to honor questions, but also as we need to wrap this up, this is only the first one, given the response here. We'll continue to share in this way to bridge the language barrier. So Rajat Garg wants to know, how is it ensured that the vaccines are being given in priority to the vulnerable groups? So obviously a question for Ivory Coast. So question for Palenfo.
Yes, as I thought that there will category of targets. The first one was health worker in frontline. That's the first target. The second, the staff of defense and security in the country. The third, the teachers. So when people get in the vaccination site, there is some basic information that is collected by the vaccinator. If this person is eligible, he can process with the vaccination. If not, he is being explaining why he is not in the first targeted, and all other information about social distanciation and the safety of the vaccine and other is provided to him, and he is invited to get back home, but to keep listening for other step of this campaign.
Thanks, Palenfo. Yes, Shalini wants to know if in Ivory Coast there have been any COVID positive cases reported amongst vaccinated individuals. Are you able to answer that with a yes or no?
The number of people who get vaccinated.
So people who received the vaccine but still became positive for coronavirus after receiving the vaccine.
Okay, I don't have this statistic on by my hand right now.
Okay, I'm guessing that Shalini is asking because this may be an issue in India where the vaccination has, where millions have been vaccinated. Endayo Iwat from Nigeria says, perfect. How were you able to cope with unceasing demand who's from eligible persons whose schedule was not due at this time? So, Palenfo, in fact, too much demand from people who wanted the vaccine but were not eligible for it.
Yes, vaccination started in the district, and that's something that we are noticed in the district. People is more asking to get vaccinated. So there is sometimes some negotiation with the vaccinator in the Hill district, because someone come with his parents. Who are eligible, and he say, okay, I'm with my parent, but I want also to get vaccinated because yes, I get them to the vaccination point. But currently the doses are not for all the people because vaccination will be released step by step. COVAX initiative will provide vaccination for 20% of the population. That's the doses provided by the COVAX facility. But here in Côte d'Ivoire, the government plan to get vaccinated people from 18 to 14-year-olds. That's another step in the vaccination plan. So, but that will be released maybe, I don't have exactly the date, but it's not for now. We have just to explain to people that the doses will be progressively released and everyone will have his time to get vaccinated.
All right, thank you, Palenfo. So we are unfortunately out of time, but this is only the first of a series of updates like this one to try to summarize some of the what we're learning rapidly. So the rapid learning from COVID-19 vaccine introduction. And let me say that Palenfo, even though he lives in the Ivory Coast, and Charlotte, even though she lives in Cameroon, are here not just speaking as representatives of the country teams, but actually facilitators who were present in order to support and respond to the expressed need of the COVID-19 Peer Hub team in the Democratic Republic of Congo to learn from the experience of their Ivory Coast colleagues. So I'd like to, if you are a member of the COVID-19 Peer Hub, or even if you're not, but you're involved in vaccine introduction, or you know you will be soon, and you're interested in this kind of exchange, please reach out to us. There will be more coming, and some of it will be public facing, but other meetings, we feel it's important that vaccination professionals be able to share in with a full confidentiality, confidence. Alassane Ouedraogo says, my best greets to all of you. Thank you for your big effort. Thank you, Alassane, for being here. So many of you were here today. We're going to now pause this first report. So this is really the very first time we're sharing some of the rapid learning between countries, building on the COVID-19 Peer Hub infrastructure that worked throughout last year. We're talking about more than 6,000 people, immunization professionals who worked together throughout 2020 for recovery, and in November, December shifted their attention to vaccine introduction. So an amazing infrastructure that is now able to rapidly respond to these expressed needs. Just a reminder, you've been, of course, a guest of the Geneva Learning Foundation. I apologize for the technical problem here that prevented some of you from accessing the the first part of this discussion. But on our Facebook page, you'll be able to quickly access the recording to catch up. And just a couple of reminders. We shared this in the intro before we got started. So first of all, the applications for the WHO Scholar Level 1 certification on immunization agenda. So that's the strategy for this decade to achieve the immunization goals. That, all right, I see that these applications are actually closed now, despite what the page says. So don't get caught by the by this discrepancy. Second, the workshop on FGM applications are open. So female genital schistosomiasis, it's one of the most neglected sexually and reproductive health issues in sub-Saharan Africa. There's a large group of partners, what's called the FGS Accelerated Scale Together project, and our partner Bridges to Development, that we're developing this workshop with them. The application there is Friday. And then if you are interested in connecting with your immunization colleagues from all over the world, the next opportunity to join Teach to Reach Connect. So it's really networking, individual meetings with fellow professionals from all over the world to meet, network, and learn. The next one is happening June 25th. So you do have almost 3 months to sign up, but do request your invitation now. We had over 1,300 people participate the first time we did it, and we may restrict the number, so do not delay to request your invitation. And then for those of you who are interested in sort of learning more about the Geneva Learning Foundation's approach to learning and leadership and how we're working with these country teams, we've just launched a monthly dialogue. So the last Sunday evening of each month at 9 p.m. Geneva, the dialogue really connects a diverse group of learning leaders from all over the world. And what we have in common is that we're all tackling complex challenges, COVID-19 vaccine introduction being an obvious one, but many, many others. So you can request your invitation here. Just enter your details, name and email, and you'll receive further instructions. I think that's it for today. Let me see if there are any. All right, let me see if there are any final messages here. All right, and Kanwal Koja says, great initiative. Kanwal, please do tell us what country and city you're connecting from, and maybe your country's COVID-19 Peer Hub team will be participating in this inter-country exchanges soon. And Dayoe, what? We really like these connections between scholars. Says, hi, Musa. So this is a colleague. He says, great, you're here. And Dayo also says, hello, Charlotte. All right, there are more questions. We're not going to address them today from Dr. Seydou Amadou Traoré, who wants to know, for example, how many people are you vaccinating in COVID-19? That's there's issues around the speed at which vaccination is happening, and so on. We'll come back to those. Emmanuel Musa says there's need to replicate this to our country's interest. Marta Ngoe says salutes the great interaction between countries and says thanks for the initiative. Daniel Haruna. Great experience from most of our nations here in Africa. As immunization supported, we hope to do all we can do to ensure our people are immunized against the dreaded COVID-19 disease. Indeed, thank you, Danielle, for this message. Immunization staff all over the world are, taking action and making the difference. Fantamadi Kamara says thanks. Dieudonné Loufoy, merci. Robert Ninsen says, thanks guys. And Kanwal Koja from Pakistan. Okay, thank you, Kanwal, is from Pakistan. All right, thank you so much to Palenfo and Charlotte for having shared this update with us. And thank you, Alassane, for the good wishes. We, of course, will be in touch very soon. All right, and take care. We're going to do a quick rewind of the main comments, of a selection of the comments received today. I think there are just too many of them to get them all And then keep an eye on our Facebook page for the next, or LinkedIn or YouTube for the next event. Take care.